In this section, I'm going to show you how to create a Xamarin Forms application without MVVM. And in the next section, I will replicate this same application with MVVM. In order to understand the MVVM, we first need to understand how we can create application inside the Xamarin Forms. Alright, let's get started. I'm using the same project, but right now, you will see a lot of files here. Let me delete these view model files so that we can process further. Also, delete this page1.xaml file as well as this main-page.xaml file. Alright, now we have an empty application. In order to start our work, let's right click on the project and create new item, and then pick content page and name it quotes page, and here we go. Inside this quote page, I'm gonna add a list view. I'm sure you are already familiar with the list view. If you are not already familiar with the list view, then watch my layout course. Let me quickly add a list view here. And then I'm going to add a list view dot item template. And then let's use the data template property of this list view. Now, Xamarin Forms list view offers some of the built-in templates like text cell, image cell, switch cell, etc. And if you don't like the built-in templates, then you can also use the view cell and create a layout according to your choice. I have used the view cell in all of my courses. And this time, I'm going to use the text cell. So, let's use the text cell here. Well, text cell allows us to use the text and detail property. But let me show you the actual look of the text cell. Well, this is the text, and below this text, we have a detail. And remember that in case of text cell, there is only a single line where we can show our detail. If you want to display multiple lines, then you have to use the view cell. Alright, let's get back to our work. Well, we will bind the text and detail property. But before this, let's go to the following API. Well, I have created this API, and this is an open source API. And this API is only for educational purpose. You can also use this API because it's open source. Alright, now if I send the request, then you will see the following JSON inside my web browser. You can also try this web API inside the Postman. If you want to use the Postman, then install the Postman from the Postman official website. Alright, as you can see that when we send the request, then we will get the following JSON data. Now we need to create a model class and properties from this JSON data. So let's go to the following website, that is JSON to C#, and there I'm going to pass this URL, and here we go. It will generate the model class and C# properties. Now this root object is not an appropriate name, and believe me, we can give it a better name. So let's jump back into the Visual Studio, and there I'm going to right click on the project and then create a new class and name it quote. Now just make this class to public. Right after that, let's go back to the JSON to C# website, and there I'm going to copy these properties. Well, I'm not going to copy this root object class because we have already created our class. So just copy these properties, and then let's paste these properties inside this quote class, and here we go. Now I'm going to consume this web API inside my Xamarin Forms project. And I'm sure you are familiar with the REST API, and right now I'm not going into the depth of REST API because I have already created the REST API complete course with ASP.NET Core. And in this course, our focus is to understand the MVVM, not the REST API. Alright? As you can see that when we call the API, then we will get the data in the JSON format. And in order to map this JSON data in our Xamarin Forms application, we need to install a plugin named as json.net or newtonsoft.json. So what I'm gonna do is, I'll simply right click on the project and select manage NuGet packages for solution. And right after that, let's search for json.net. And here we go. Let's pick the official package of json.net, and that is newtonsoft.json, and it has millions of downloads, and it's the most trusted and more reliable NuGet package. Alright, now I'm going to install this package inside my project. So let's install it. And soon we will get a confirmation message, and that says the plugin has been installed successfully. Now let's go to the codespace.xaml.cs file. And there you will see that we have only a constructor present inside this page. Alright, now inside the constructor, I'm gonna call a function and name it load quotes. And then outside the constructor, I'm going to create a body of this function. We will write all the logic of consuming API inside this load quotes function. So let's start our work. First of all, I'm going to create an HTTP client. Well, this HTTP client comes from this namespace, that is system.net.http. Alright, this HTTP client is responsible to communicate with the server. In order to get the data from the server, we need to call this getStringAsync method. And you can see that this method will take the URI. So let's go to the API, and then let's copy this URI and paste it here. And then await this call so that your application will not be blocked. Also, you will see an error here, and that says because this is an await call and it cannot be executed without making the async method. So all you need to do is just use the async keyword along with this function. And here we go. So far we have called this getStringAsync method, and it will return the JSON. And let's store this JSON in some variable and name it response. Right now we will get only the JSON data, and in order to convert this JSON into C# objects, we need to deserialize this JSON. You remember that we have installed the Newtonsoft package, and now we are going to use this. Well, let's use this JSON-convert.deserialize object, and then you know that we will get the list of quotes from this API. So we need to use the list of quotes, and then let's pass this response variable here. Well, this whole line will take the JSON and deserialize it according to these properties that comes from this quote class. Alright, now let's store the result that comes from the deserialization. And I'm gonna add a variable and name it quotes. And the last step is to assign these quotes to our list view that we have created inside our codespace.xaml. So let's go to the codespace.xaml, and there I'm gonna name this list view to LV quotes. Now we can access this list view inside our code behind file. So let's jump back to the code behind file, and there I'm going to assign the quotes to this list view item source property. Alright, that's it. Now we need to bind the quotes class properties with the text cell. So let's switch to the text cell, and let's bind the text of this text cell with the quotes class title property. And similarly, let's bind the detail of this text cell with the quotes class description property. You can also set the color of this text and detail. Now we need to register this code page inside the constructor of app.xaml.cs file. So let's go to the constructor of the app.xaml.cs file and simply register this page here. Alright, now let's run this application. And here we go. Soon you will get all the codes inside this list view. Well, that's awesome. And this is a simple code application that we have created without using MVVM. Now this is a one method to make the application. Now in the next section, I'm gonna show you another method of creating the same application with the help of MVVM. So I will catch you guys in the next section.